Hey, what's going on, everybody? Matthew back with another episode of Watty's channel. Back down here in the game room with one of my specialties. So this one's actually going to be more of a top 5 of my favorite customizers. And so before we actually get into the different sellers, different artists, different figures that I plan on showing in this video, there are some criteria that I'm looking at when I made my selections. For starters, someone like the Random Treasures, they will not be included in this video, only because with someone like that, I kind of feel like it's, they're actual toy makers. They don't chop off heads or limbs or, remold or whatnot. They create completely separate figures. And so I kind of look at them as like another Mattel type of deal. So I will not include them for that particular reason. Another thing I'm looking at is the amount of times I purchased from a certain seller, or the amount of figures that I've received from them. So if I have one seller that I bought from one time, and I've got 5 figures, and I've got another seller that I bought from twice, and again 5 figures, I'm probably going to go with the seller that I bought from on multiple occasions. So I try to give a nice blend of customization figures here, so customized figures, and we're looking at 3 different sets of LJNs and a couple sets of Hasbros. Now, as you guys know, I do generally go for the LJN customs a whole lot more than Hasbro, but there are just so many great figures out there, great customizers, so I definitely want to give credit to my favorite toy line, which are the Hasbros from the early 90s. So, with that being said, the first set of figures I'm going through are figures acquired from Robert Jackson. Again, these names or their eBay shops I will put in the comment section at the bottom. That way you can give them a good look. So Robert Jackson, he has a couple of figures here from the $1 Million Man, which I did show during my specialty video. And I just thought that they were both so unique and different that they end up probably cracking my top 10 favorite Hasbro custom figures easy. And I absolutely love the gold one. I mean, to me, again, the uniqueness, I've come across the white $1 Million Man on occasion, usually in LJN style, but just so well crafted and well done. And I am going to hold these up for you guys. So now some of the Hasbros, I do have packaged these little plastic protectors, and I have them hanging on my wall. So I don't want to take them out of the plastic and keep them pretty sturdy there. Another one, which is a great color scheme. I don't remember this particular, clothing in the actual ring. Doesn't mean he never wore it. It just means I just can't remember it, or I've never seen it. And it is a Bruce Beefcake figure. Now, as you guys remember, Hasbro Series 1 and 2, has, in my opinion, some of the worst figures. Now, once I got into Series 3, obviously the figures started getting a whole lot better. To me, I think Series 3 of Hasbro are some of the best figures that you're going to find in the line, minus, Series 11. And the only reason I really put Series 11 on that list is probably because of, the rarity and value of the figures overall. But when I look at these figures, I'm not so much paying attention to the actual figure. I mean, Bruce Beefcake, I probably wouldn't spend more than $5 on, talking about the original figure. But when you talk about customs, you're not just looking at the figure. You're looking at the paint job and the skill and technique it takes to make something like this. And when I saw this Beefcake figure, I absolutely jumped on it. Love this one. Again, fantastic work. So with these pair, I chose one figure from each color line, so to speak. So for the first one, I chose Marty Jannetty with yellow. This is back at AWA, Midnight Rockers type of scheme. And Marty Jannetty with the rockers, with the fused legs. Again, not one of my favorite figures. But again, based on the price I paid for these, which was amazing, absolutely worth it. Once you get to about $30, $40, that's, to me, it's when you really start to think about the figure itself. under $30, I'm looking at the technique and skill of the artist, and that's just absolutely amazing. So I mentioned one of the criteria was 5 figures, at least 5 figures. I do have more figures from all of these sellers, but again, I am going to only choose 5 of my favorite from that particular seller. So the last one is going to be a Shawn Michaels in blue. And that is absolutely amazing, guys. One of my favorite aspects of this figure, I don't think Marty Jannetty has it. No, he doesn't. But those tassels on the back of the boots, that is so absolutely amazing. And, Marty Jannetty, again, just plain yellow, which is, decent, great. It works with the figure, with the paint scheme. And just kind of get the multi-colored in there. That is so incredible work. I just love that. That is so cool. So it does kind of look like, with some of my specialty videos, I guess the viewers are enjoying what they see, and they are going on to the buyers' pages and, placing orders, placing bids. Bad for me, but, again, this isn't about me. This is about the actual artist and the seller who does this amazing work. And so I'm glad I'm able to, help, certain businesses, get more buyers or get more views. And I missed out on about 2 or 3 different customs from Robert, and highly disappointed. I absolutely love them, and I thought I put in a pretty hefty bid, but outbid, and it sucks. But I'm happy for the guys who were able to get these amazing talent or this amazing customs from this awesome talent, and I'm happy for Robert that he's able to expand his business. And same thing with the rest of these sellers. I can't list all of the customizers or all the folks I buy from, but when I am able to make a specialty video here and there, I'm take a lot of pride in the products I've acquired and talking about the shop of the seller. So number 4, again, so 4 and 5 are going to be Hasbro figures, and this one is from a man named Derek. On eBay, you'll see his line. It's called Pumpkin Man 1986. Sorry, got to reach back here. So, again, sticking with series 1 and 2, and I think the reason a lot of customizers do that is because series 1 and 2 didn't exactly have the best the best figures, the best design, best playability, what have you, and so they take a figure like Jake Roberts, which may be a $5 figure in its original form, and they give this absolute amazing artwork, and suddenly a $5 figure without the snake, and customize it and turn it into a $30 to $40 figure. And this right here, again, among my Hasbro custom figures, I would have to put this one in the top 10. I mean, that paint scheme is just too good, and I absolutely love this one. Jake Roberts from Derek at Pumpkin Man 1986. So this one's a more recent acquisition, and it's another Series 1, $1 Million Man. And again, I keep buying these because they're just so good. And unlike a lot of the other Series 1 figures, I actually like the black suit original from Hasbro. I don't mind it. But again, they take a good figure, not great, but good, and they just turn it into this absolutely amazing product. And again, different color scheme. And I think that's what's important with a lot of these figures. Creating something different, that's important to me too. You don't want to keep getting the same figure or the same paint job over and over again. So being able to acquire something different, absolutely amazing. $1 Million Man, Series 1. Now, my least favorite figure of all time, and it actually happens to be my least favorite figure from both LJN, or least favorite character from LJN and Hasbro, and Rick Rude. And the original Rick Rude with the purple and black pants, waist down, decent figure, not bad. Might actually have the potential to be great. but they give you like kind of like this, you know, arm punching motion thing, which I absolutely hate. I hate that they put that big old hole in the shoulder, you know. They push the arm back and it punches the person, you know, once they get them in a headlock. I mean, to me, it's really, it was always an unplayable figure. It was kind of like the Series 2 Hulk Hogan with the bear hug. Yeah, it looks great for display purposes, but as far as being able to actually wrestle with it, horrible. But Derek, what he was able to do with this figure and take pretty much bad figure and turn it into just pure artistry. And what I love about a lot of these Rick Rude figures, so when you actually watched WWF back in the day, you know, 80s, 90s, what have you, he always had like these little designs on the back of his pants. You know, there was a match where Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior were doing battle, kind of seeing, you know, the Macho Man heavyweight champion, Warrior Intercontinental champion face off. And then, you know, of course, Rick Rude, he'd come out to, you know, because he had that little, he had the future matches with the Warriors, so, and he'd come out with the Ultimate Warrior's face painted on the back of his pants. And a lot of his pants, they do have these little, you know, built-in belt, championship belts, which, again, so amazing. I love it. Ravishing Rick Rude would be the third figure. Number 4, completely a different paint scheme. It's not Heart Foundation. It's not New Heart Foundation. So they do give Jim Anvil a completely different, and to me, I think better. To me, this is probably the best version I've ever seen of, you know, Anvil. I've seen other customizations where they actually do, you know, kind of like a Bret Hart, Heart Foundation, you know, pink and white or black and pink, something like that. But to me, this is absolutely incredible. And I always love that they include the anvil on both front and back. That to me is so awesome. And I purchased probably 10 or 12 figures or so, I'm guessing, from Derek, and such an amazing talent. Now, among all the figures I bought from him, my all-time favorite has to be the Honky Tonk Man. And the Honky Tonk Man figure by itself is, you know, probably, I think I had him number 9 on my all-time favorite list. And so, being able to include these different color schemes with the little musical notes, and having like the little honky tonk or Elvis type of picture right here down the front, that is so awesome. And I think he still has another one of these, maybe not 100% identical, but you know, close enough on in his store. And you know, if you're able to pick something like this up for, you know, $40, 50, even 50, I mean 50 maybe up there for some folks, but I think a $40 figure is fair. Absolutely amazing. This is my favorite figure from Derek. I absolutely love this one. So that's 5 figures there. I did want to include one more. So he doesn't just do Hasbro. He also does Galoob. And when I picked this one up, I picked it up. And again, Scott Steiner, one of my least favorite Galoob figures. But, you know, we're not looking at the figure in this particular case. We're looking at the artwork and design, you know, the uniqueness, and you know, something different than what you already own. So being able to have a custom Galoob figure is pretty amazing. Now there is one figure that I got from a custom Rick Rude that they made into Galoob, which was really amazing. Unfortunately, I can't really show that one because I only have one figure. If I ever go back and buy more from that particular seller, you know, I definitely want to be able to display things like that, because, you know, creating a whole new character for the Galoob line, that was so amazing. So, number 4 is going to be Derek Pumpkin Man 1986 on eBay. Number 3, and this is one of the most common buyers, or one of the most common sellers I buy from, and it's John Ruggiero. On eBay, again, I'll put these links in the description or in the notes, the reply section. So it's going to be the 1J Ruggs 79 on eBay. And 5 of my favorites that I've purchased from him. First one is going to be an LJN of the Mountie. So one thing I really like about this, yes, they took a Nikolai Volkov, but when you look at the back of the figure, like that hunch that's back here, they actually kind of slimmed that down so it's pretty flat, and I thought that was incredible. And of course, we know, with Nikolai Volkov, he's got this small arms up, but it's still one of my favorite figures, the Nikolai Volkov, because of the fighting pose. And I think he was like number 4 on my list for like the longest time. And as I acquired more and more figures, finished the line, Nikolai Volkov probably fell back to somewhere, I don't know, 12, 15, somewhere around there. So I never did a list, past my top 10 favorites. But I think Nikolai Volkov, you'd have to have him as a top 15 figure. And this Mountie, the artwork, the fact that they got this, the hat, you could either want it as, a loose figure or what has the accessory, but I think I prefer the built-in. Again, you're not playing with this, you're using it for display purposes, and even if you wanted to, this is a rubber figure, so you can wrestle with them if you wanted to, but again, if you're going to buy something like this for your kids, why would you want to? Beautiful, beautiful artwork. The Mountie, one of my all-time favorites from John. So another great one, and I don't know if when I did the my favorite John Ruggiero figures, I may have completely overlooked this one. I think I missed this one. I think I missed a Hulk Hogan, maybe. It was long ago, but I know this one was definitely one I missed, and it was a shame because it was one of my all-time favorites from him. And this is a Tito Santana, I believe Series 5 from Strike Force. And so they don't actually add another, a shirt, anything like that, a shirt mold onto the figure. It's just a simple, paint job over the skin, which is perfectly fine. They did an absolutely phenomenal job with the figure. Got the little Tito down there, Strike Force with lightning. So I forget what you call it, sombrero or something. I think that's what that is right here on his pants, on his trunks. Super cool. And just look at that Strike Force emblem. It kind of reminds me of like the Lockheed Martin to an extent. When you look at their emblem, and that is just so nice. Tito Santana, as I mentioned, it's not my favorite figure. Actually, it's one of my least favorites. And it always bothered me because Tito Santana, you would think with arms out, it would be such a playable and fantastic figure to wrestle with. But when you actually start using him, he's got that terrible body slam pose. So it doesn't really work to me as well as I thought it would. But Tito Santana, Strike Force, just awesome artwork, guys. And the thing is, with any of these sellers that I'm listing here, I'm pretty sure they can all be commissioned. Meaning, if you want to reach out to them and say, "Hey, I'm interested in, getting this figure, that figure made," they may want you to purchase this figure and send it to them, or they may have one available. Either, in that case, you might have to pay up a little bit extra for it, but great work, man. I absolutely love it. So these are right here, 2 brand new ones. And I just did a video recently, and the first one is going to be the main reason I bought that lot of 3 figures, and it's going to be a Scott Steiner. And they just took a Ted Arcidi, made a Scott Steiner, and made him two-toned as far as the singlet, doublet. I'm not really sure what these things are called. I always call it singlet regardless of how many straps there are. I don't know if that's correct, but I really haven't heard any other way of describing these other than wrestling gear. So we've got Scott Steiner, absolutely amazing, love it. And even the little stripes here, I don't know if you can really make it out. Of course, I choose the one area where there's not the brightest light here, but whatever, it's still a lot lighter than it had been in the past. So beautiful line work here, and again, what I like about the hair, it's always so smooth and flush. It's so beautiful, love it. Rick Steiner, again, another really fantastic piece. And I didn't bring them out, but I should have brought out the Hasbro line, because I think that these are like almost identical as far as color scheme to the Hasbros. And again, really smooth, beautiful hair. I love that they did put the little built-in headpiece, molded a whole new piece. They didn't just draw that on there. So that is so incredible. And with the Iron Sheik pose, they did kind of get rid of the little pointy elf toes, which, that way, that makes it a whole lot more realistic. And again, the Iron Sheik, beautiful display piece, just not my favorite figure to use as a wrestler. But again, display, beautiful, love it, absolutely amazing. Right now, John does have a sting, with a crow stings on his site, and I've been holding off on getting that because I like getting a few figures at a time from him, so who knows if it's still going to be available in the future, but in the meantime, I can still enjoy what I do have from him and show the rest of you folks the amazing products they do sell. So that is the Steiner brothers. So the fifth figure I chose. Now, when I did my John Ruggiero specialty video, my top 5 favorite figures, so British Bulldog with the Matilda attachment was my number 1 favorite. But for this video, I decided to go with Brutus Beefcake Megamaniacs. And this was one of the first figures I purchased, and I mentioned during my My Favorite LJN tournament, I couldn't include him when it came in. John did a great job wrapping and trying to protect the figure, but he did have built-in shears that matched this color scheme. It got damaged. I sent it back. John was able to fix it, put a beautiful brand new scissors or shears in. Now this one actually is removable, and it's just a great figure. And when I talk about the cleanliness and shininess, just again smooth. I love the way that they do the hair on here. These things are so amazing. Brutus Beefcake, another figure of mine that I don't really cherish that much. I'm not a huge fan of the fighting pose of the figure, so not one of my favorites. But I buy this figure like crazy because I'm not focusing on the wrestler. I'm focusing on the design, the color, the technique, and for John Ruggiero, absolutely phenomenal work here. So again, the 1J Ruggs 79 on eBay, and he comes in as number 3 on my list of favorite customizers. Coming in at number 2, it is none other than the Raider Nation. So Raider Nation came out with another figure. They used a Tito Santana figure and created a Mr. T. And again, with this, we're talking about absolute elite figures that I just absolutely crazy about. They don't have that many, LJN customs. Actually, it's very rare. They might come out with one every so often, months between perhaps. But when they do, I just absolutely love them. They're worth every figure is worth every penny. And so, I want to say this Mr. T is from WrestleMania 1. It was just so long ago, guys. I just don't have that type of memory to think back that far. I mean, even things from age 10 to age 14, 15, whenever I stopped watching wrestling. You think I'd be old enough to remember all that stuff, but unfortunately, I really don't. And he actually looks like Mr. T, so this is just so incredible. And again, one of the best LJN customs I have, I think. And as always, per usual, I like to belt every single one of my figures if I can. Another great, the most recent acquisition, one I made a 5-minute video about, and it was the 1-2-3 Kid. So 1-2-3 Kid, as I said before, guys, when it comes to LJNs, there's particular figures that I want to see. Like, I want to see like a real to scale Andre Giant Gonzalez. One that's if a regular figure is 8 inches, I want to see one that's like 10, 12 inches high. That would be really awesome. couldn't really display it with the rest of my figures. I'd have to sit it on top of a shelf, but that's one figure. An Undertaker, which again, the next guy I'm gonna be talking about, he's actually making me one of those. We talked about doing Midnight Rockers, or it doesn't have to be Midnight Rockers, but the rocker figures or something I covet. 123 Kid was among those figures that I was dying to have. I was really hoping to get like a Hasbro colored 123 Kid where he's all in blue, but that is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And if they ever come out with another color scheme where they come out with like the blue figure, I'll buy 123 Kid again. I'll have duplicates. I'm okay with that. Different color scheme, different artwork. Just one of my absolute favorites. And as I said, using a Rick Martel Strike Force was a great choice because it just blends in really well, and it actually looks like that Waltman guy, 123 Kid. I actually forgot his name for a second there. 123 Kid. The next one, kind of like right up there on par with the 123 Kid, was a figure that I really wanted to see as LJN for quite a while. And when I finally found one, incredible. The only downside of this particular figure is using a Harley Race. Again, I'm not a fan of the Harley. Harley Race is a beautiful design. It's just that his fighting stance is terrible. You can't really use it as a playable figure, not really. But creating Doink was a highlight for a while there because I absolutely love the figure, and having LJN style Doink was absolutely amazing. I'm trying to think if there's any other versions of this particular character that they could possibly make, because I would be interested in acquiring one or maybe two more of these at some point. And again, absolutely beautiful. Kenny Lester at the Raider Nation is the one. So Justin, he's the one I buy from. Kenny Lester, he says, is the artist, and a lot of the time you'll actually see KL on the bottom of the boots, so you know who the actual artist is. And he does, again, some of the most amazing work I've ever seen. One of the best customs I own is Coco Beware. And so Coco Beware, he's got Coco B on his pants and boots. You got the little toucan bird. You got the wear on his boots. I don't know if you can really make it out or if it's too dark. The design of the figure, as far as, taking like a white jacket to the pants, or, was it blue pants, or excuse me, red pants to red jacket, just kind of, kind of move that around a little bit. And I like the little glitter design on here. It looks like it stands out on the computer screen, but I'm not sure if anyone else is actually seeing that. There's just so many positive takeaways from this figure. I mean, they did an outstanding job. They could do no wrong when they made this figure. So Coco Beware, and the last one we're looking at from the Raider Nation is my all-time favorite figure from them, and that's the Honky Tonk Man. So I bought 2 or 3 of these Honky Tonk Man figures. Trying to think the other one. Cause I got the original, which I keep buying. I've got this one customized. I thought I had one more. Yes, I do. I forgot about the one from Steiner GQ. And that is it. That is the Raider Nation top 5. Well, the 5 I chose. Not necessarily my top 5, but I think they are. And beautiful artwork. I mean, again, just crazy about it. And as we all know, the best seller on eBay, someone who's always willing to work with you, has absolutely some of the most amazing customs you'll ever find. So I probably bought maybe 2 or 3 dozen or more figures from him. Not all of them are made from him directly. So for this particular video, I selected 5 of my favorites that he did do himself. And once you see them, you'll absolutely be in love. So first, this one is from Eric Boyer. Again, I'll leave his contact information at the bottom. You know, these guys, they could be commissioned if you want any of these. And the first one is the Great Muta. So Muta, he has one of my all-time favorite facial paints, and Sting, Ultimate Warrior. But to me, if he's not my favorite, he's at least top 2, top 3, I think. Incredible work. And again, I don't think you can see. I think it's too dark. But the little writing on the side of his pants here. I think this is Japanese, if I'm not mistaken. But again, more of the little Japanese writing. Awesome face paint. Taking a figure such as Ricky Steamboat, not a favorite of mine, but able to remold it where the hand is down as so, and just did a phenomenal job here. So this again is from Wrestling Writer, and this is the first figure of 5. Second, this one is right up there on par with my Abdullah the Butcher figure, and this one is a Dusty Rhodes. And he's got that extra long belt that wraps around his body, which you need, because we're talking about a 300, maybe 400 pound man here. So this is a King Kong Bundy, I would imagine. And again, taking King Kong Bundy, chopping the arms off, giving him a much better fighting pose. This one I think is resin. Yeah, that's resin. But I mean, fantastic work. I mean, if they could do that to the actual King Kong Bundy, which is what I'm hoping to do right now. So I did commission Eric for a few different projects, and one of them is going to be a more improved King Kong Bundy figure. As you know, Big John Studd is my favorite LJN figure, and he's got my favorite fighting pose right up there with the arms up, kind of like the Sid Vicious Galoob. And so one of the projects I'm having to work on is taking a King Kong Bundy figure, chopping off the arms of Big John Studd, and putting them on the King Kong Bundy. So now you're taking King Kong Bundy, one of my all-time favorite figures, and giving him that awesome fighting pose. And so some of the other projects, I've got him taking a Hulk Hogan figure, and he's going to turn that into an original San Francisco Series 1 Hulk Hogan. Or is it might be Series 2 that I'm thinking of, with a yellow shirt, red pants. But once it's finished, it's going to look absolutely amazing. As I mentioned before, he's creating both a Paul Bearer and Undertaker figure for me. And there's one other major project. I'm trying to think what the other one was. Oh, Junkyard Dog. So he's going to use the bottom half of the Big John Studd figure and take Junkyard Dog's torso and above and create a more, I guess, wide stance for the figure that's more Junkyard Dog-ish with the wider hips, wider legs. So I've got a number of figures that I've commissioned from him, and so those are going to be absolutely phenomenal when they do arrive, and this right here is just perfect example of the technique. He can actually go and chop off some things and create these amazing new figures. A lot of people use the Hillbilly Jim figure because of arms positioning or because of the stance of the legs, what have you, and I just can't wait to get those in. They're going to look absolutely amazing. So this one, again, Dusty Rhodes. One of the best figures I own. And it's a different take. Instead of Army, this is going to be more of a Navy or Air Force Corporal Kirchner. So Corporal Kirchner, again, they've got like this little teal colored beret with shirt, blue, navy blue, sky blue pant design. Incredible work on the boots. I mean, just not being able to have, just ensuring that this stuff doesn't bleed onto the boots or onto the pants. That is so amazing. I mean, even the belt, they got a new green belt on there, customized. Great. So for me, I love this one. This is one of my all-time favorites because of the color scheme. And Yeah, the little camouflage, they did such a great job with this. Incredible. I know I'm kind of shooting past this last few a little bit quickly, but that's because we're hovering around 40 minutes, and I don't know if everyone's going to be interested in a 40-minute video, but again, I just didn't want to rush through a lot of these because, you know, I enjoy being able to give shout outs to, you know, some amazing talent out there. So the third item that I have from Eric. Now this item right here was actually on my list of top 10 favorites from Wrestling Router. The Ken Patera. So Ken Patera originally, the purple Ken Patera was on my list of least favorites from LJN Originals, and it's because of the fighting pose for no other reason. I mean, it's really hard to choose 10 least favorites when you absolutely love the figures and you love the line. But Ken Patera from Wrestling Rider was on my list of top 10 most favorite because of the color scheme and because of the talent it took to actually create something like this. And, you know, didn't make any changes to the body type. You know, it's still the original rubber figure. And you might think it's just such a simple, you know, repaint, but I mean, I couldn't do anything like that. Not in a million years. I mean, I took a King Kong Bundy. I tried to, you know, fill in the black marks in a singlet, and I failed miserably. So, to be able to actually sit there and put the little Team USA symbol, incredible. So, Ken Patera, trying to see if I got this belt lined up the right way. And I really don't know what this belt is. Maybe AWA, something like that, but I just try to put championship belts on all the wrestlers, and I think I might have this upside down. Ken Patera. So the last figure I selected, I'm pretty sure for Eric, it's probably the highlight of, you know, his customizations. And it is the Carrie Von Erich or Texas Tornado figure. Again, this is a customized figure. Well, obviously, we customized, me rephrase that, it's a resin figure. But that's okay. Again, it's a statue. It's for display purposes. You're not going to use this for wrestling. You won't give this to your kids or anything. The reason I love this figure, and I think so many people are in love with this figure, is because of the head mold. So, the face itself is so human-like. And again, the hair, this has got to be a top 3 figure in my opinion, maybe top 4 at worst, as far as hair design. Again, the overall head sculpt, 100% awesome, 100% realistic. So I don't think Eric does the head molds himself, but you know, he goes through someone else. They sculpt the head, and then he does the body work and paint job. But this is just such amazing work. Alright, so just to recap, coming at number 5 was Robert Jackson. Number 4, and again, Robert Jackson is going to be his screen name as well on eBay, and that's going to be in the replies. I'll leave that information on there. And number 4 was Pumpkin Man 1986. We had the 1J Ruggs 79 at number 3. Number 2 was the Raider Nation, and number 1 is Wrestling Rider. Again, all his contact information will be there. Trying to think if I missed anything. I don't think so. So it's a 39-minute video, so I might as well keep going, push it to 41 minutes. So for the first time in a long time, guys, I kind of feel like I finally have options. Meaning that for like 5 weeks, I could only come out with like 2 videos because I really didn't have any idea of any videos I wanted to make. And over the last couple weeks, I've made several videos, and there's still plenty more ideas that I have coming. And I'm kind of holding off on that right now because I'm trying to not overwhelm everybody with, you know, daily videos or every other day. So some of the goals are trying to, you know, push the videos out 3-4 days if I can. One of the other tasks I want to complete is get each video to 100 views prior to posting a new video. So In the next video, I'll probably talk about new plans for upcoming videos that I want to do. Because we're already at 40 minutes, I don't want to go too much further past this timeline, but I just want to say once again, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Your support has been amazing, and if you have any questions, want to know anything about these particular sellers, their contact information, and you don't only have to reach out to them through eBay. I mean, Eric, he's got an Instagram on there. I don't have the Instagram or anything like that for anyone else, but I'll put that contact information in there as well. So if you have any questions for me, as always, comment if you'd like. Yeah, thank you, and I will see you guys shortly. Talk to y'all soon. Goodbye for now.